Here we go again. We had to make a robot this time that separated cans based on color. First, it would have to travel down a white line and pick up the cans on said line and then separate them and place them into separate bins. So all that seems pretty easy. Seems like it'd be child's play. It was not that easy. You'll see all the dilemmas I went through. Just watch the video and enjoy. So here goes the build. I had to take a pile of this, and then I had to take that and turn it into this, which is a lot easier said than done. So I used several motors, several servos, several light sensors, and all that. And I'm going to explain how all that works. So I used a ultrasonic sensor on the nose, as you can see there, to detect when the can's close. I used omnidirectional or bidirectional wheels, I don't know, that they can go any direction on the back so it can make tight turns without having any problems. This is the light sensor, which I attached to the claw to grab the can so it could see the color as it grabs it. And then I did use gears to give it a little bit more torque because this thing's a lot heavier than my previous robots. So I used a motor for the arm to make it go up and down. It's the only thing that had enough power. I couldn't use a servo for that. And I did have to use gears for that also, and a potentiometer, which was absolutely crucial in detecting where the arm was, either up or down. So I built all this and never actually programmed a darn thing until the night before we actually had to have this done. So I stayed up all night, pulled an all-nighter, and got this thing going. Okay. It's late, early. It's 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm dedicated. A long day. It's gonna be even longer, but here we go. Proof of concept. So here I used the same code from the previous line tracker, only we had 3 light sensors and I took out the middle one. I realized it wasn't necessary, and more importantly, it didn't fit because the servo that spins the claw, changes the angle of it, was in the way. So I just removed that entirely and I changed the value on the line to white. And then it works. I do realize that beer and programming probably wasn't the best combination, but it kept me awake somehow. And as you can see, this thing kind of works. I still had to figure out the sorting of it, but that was taken care of. I have no clue why this is in there. Whoops. So it's test day or track day or final day, whatever you want to call it. So I finally got the sorting figured out. It is extremely, how do I put this, suspenseful. Right before it was about to put it in the right bin, it would move back and forth for a second. But I totally did that on purpose just to make a better video. So here it is going around the track. This is a nice long 4-minute video. Just this little section, so sorry about that. I probably could have stepped it up a notch, but for once I decided it was probably better to go slow. I've gotten in a lot of trouble for going too fast in the past. So this is the code I use for the picking up and the sorting of the can. It would, if the arm was all the way back, the potentiometer value was like over 800 or something of that sort, it would stop once it sensed a can in front of it with the ultrasonic and put the arm down, close the arm, then read the sensor, the light sensor, to see the color of the can, and as it was going back it would turn the servo and place it in the corresponding bin. I could have put a little bit more of a delay or separated the placing the can in the bin because as you can see it was extremely suspenseful. I would still be kind of thinking about what color it was before it placed it down, so that got a little scary, but it worked. So if it's not broke, don't fix it. It's my motto. See, watch, it's gonna psych you out. You can be like, wait, oh no, I don't know, but it works. So if you look at this right here, my robot kind of shakes back and forth as it crosses the hash mark, and that's something I put into the code because it would hit that and try to follow the hash mark off the course. But so I set it up so if the robot got to a hash mark and it spent more time seizing and just going left and right. It would increment a value, one was for left and one was for right. And if those values were higher than the value for straight, so if it spent more time going left and right than it did going straight, then it would stop and go completely just straight forward. So here, there's the code I use for that. If Z, which I believe that was straight, was less than 30, and then X was greater than 20, or Y was greater than 20, X and Y being left and right turning, that means that it spent more time going left and right than going straight. Then it would write both motors 110, which would have it just go forward for, what was my delay? 8, or 0.8 of a second. Also, you can see right under that if statement, there's the W++, which is how I count the hash marks. So every time it did that, it would count 1. And once it got to 5, it meant it picked up all 4 cans, and it's on the 5th hash mark, and then it would write the motors to 90 and stop. Enough of that. Let's get back to the excitement and the action. So here you can see this is where it does that really suspenseful thing where, oh, I'm going to go in the black, and then nope, I'm going to go in the white. Seeing how it had a hard time telling the color of the can just meant I did a really good job raising this little guy, and he's not biased. He has a hard time segregating things, which I am so proud of him.
The suspense, it makes for a better video. Yeah.
So here we go with the last black can. Last can. Color doesn't matter, like I was saying. Anyways, so after it passes this hash mark, as you can see, it kind of shook back and forth there, so it counted that. On the screen, it actually has the line count of that. So hopefully if Ben gets out of the way and this robot just went any faster, we could hurry up and finish this video. But it's going to come to the last one, come to a complete stop, and say we're finally finished, which I am so glad. At the end, I noticed something cool. The ultrasonic sensor, you can hear it on the phone mic. So I kind of went with it and faded that in to the end credits music. Enjoy.